want to tell you, and this is literally from the heart. You were the person that got me started on my social media, and I would have never have been brave enough to like go and jump into that pool.
Got it.
And the thing that you said to me that I still have to like pull on is just do it. Like your thing is just do it.
Well, the funny thing is about social media and me is someone said the same thing to me, and then we both know who she is.
Yes.
And she said, if you're worried about how you look, they already see you in a much different way. So forget that. So once you take that away, and then start doing it, and who you are, what you are, how you feel about it, then the best thing to know is if you put it out there in an edited version, you're going to be, you're absolutely who you're going to be.
Right.
And people want to work with the authentic person and not a manufactured soul.
Well, and it's like to that point, like you put this picture out there, but then when they meet you and they're like, okay, you're not even that person, like that doesn't build a lot of trust with your customers if you're not being.
Right, but in my and we've already talked about this before. My social media is who I'm not who I am when I'm not a realtor.
Yeah.
It's who and then you get me, like the interview process. When people call on the phone, you're like, okay, I want to work with him, and at my stage of the business, it's mostly referrals.
Right.
So I've already got a pre-press from whoever referred me, past clients or customers who have had great experiences. So I'm kind of almost there.
Yeah.
And then they cut, but nobody, and we've all said this a million times. You're researched more, as much as a house on Realtor.com before they call you.
So true.
So.
You want them to know who you are.
Oh, well, if you're not who you are, then they're going to be disappointed, and your appointment will last a minimal amount of time, and the phone will ring again.
Yeah.
And it has to ring.
So let me ask you this, because for me, looking at you, you exude confidence. And so what I've asked people who have been my influence on mindset and have helped me with what I'm working on with trying to build my confidence is this something that you've always had, or can you pinpoint a time that you were like, okay, I have to change this, and this is what did it?
Oh, confident. I've always been confident to a degree, but I've never, until I started real estate and got my license, I didn't realize that like being an independent, I had no idea what to do.
Right.
So I surrounded myself with the right people, and my confidence came from knowledge, came from education, came from watching, and then came from experimenting on ways to engage people.
Yeah.
And then it just manifests itself into success.
Do you practice it? Like, is there something that you go, okay, Paul, you really need to stop thinking like that? Are there any internal things that you catch yourself when you find yourself that you're doing those self-talks or those stories?
Well, I think we all, listen, in our personal life, you think about your personal life, just all the things that we go through on a day-to-day basis, relationships, whatever. I always, to be honest with Melissa, I edit myself constantly. I know my audience. Mm-hmm. I know if I'm talking to close friends and family, I just know what I can do and what I can say. But in the world of business, I really think about the person I'm going to meet up with and make sure that I'm fully engaged. No matter what's going on in my life, that person in front of me is always the most important person.
Yeah.
And it can be a talent, it can be learned, but it also can go sideways.
So why do you think most people don't exude? Like, I feel like in real estate, like you've got to have thick skin. In this industry, like if you don't have thick skin, like I think that's the make it or break it part of this
Correct.
business. What do you think? Why do you think most people? What keeps them from having the confidence that you have? Do you think?
Well, I'm going to be really honest. I've had times when I've been kicked, and then I walk away. And then the nice thing is that you're alone in your car a lot of the time, and you can think about things. But the confidence comes from knowing that I did the best I could, and it really does translate in good business.
Yeah.
It is paramount that you have confidence and attitude that's about your confidence without being snotty.
Right.
Excuse me. So.
Well, one of the things that I remember, we were talking about the luxury listing, which you do so well. and that's definitely your niche. You know, like you just really do a great job with that clientele.
Right.
And I remember when I was trying to break into that, into that industry part of that price point, and I remember calling you and saying, "Oh my gosh, when I get this listing, like you're going to have to help me because I can't do this like this. I don't know." And you were like, "Yes, you can. You can absolutely do this."
Right.
And I think that's the thing. Like your thing is just do it.
Well, I've always said from day one when it comes to buying and selling a home, you can sell a 3-2 in a new build. I mean, in a neighborhood that you grew up in. There's no reason that you can't sell 8-bedroom, 9-bath house, pool home.
Yeah.
All of it is it's knowledge.
Right. So you feel like with your confidence, like the more that you know, so the more you study your craft, the more confidence you're going to have.
Well, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
We know how to sell a home that's made of concrete block, shingle roof. You just have to take the time and educate yourself what are the fittings and the construction and the features of a house that is bigger, more expensive. Walking through of a home that's luxury is an experience for most people, especially some realtors who've never been in homes that big, or it's their first time listing a house that's in the 7 figures. The thing is that one of the things I believe is that the agent gets behind the number, not behind the house.
Right.
And
that is a good point.
It's the reverse of that when you walk in. If I can sell a 3-2, I can sell an 8.
Yeah.
There's no difference.
Yeah.
But the difference there is a difference. The difference is taking the time to educate yourself.
And that's exactly what you told me. You're like, Melissa, go and find out like the high-end stoves. What are the high-end appliances?
Right.
Know what kind of high-end details that they'll have in the fixtures, and know those brands in, out, and so you can talk to those points.
Well, if you don't know it, you need to know it because that's your job.
Yeah.
You need to know, like even the rankings of what a townhouse has.
Right.
GE against a Whirlpool against any other brand. You just want to, it's always good to know that.
Right.
Only because you're always talking to somebody that's at a level that needs your professional advice. We're not talking about their profession. You're the CEO of who you are, and you need to be the best at what you do.
Yeah.
And you need to know your audience, and you need to know it very, very well.
Right.
I've always gone by this one piece of advice I got a long time ago. You're who you are, and how you are.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
And also, can we get some oranges for the water?
Yeah,
all right.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. The one piece of advice I got, which I live by, is that you are the CEO of just what you do, and after that, you're the vice president of whatever they do. You're learning. You're let them be who they are in their business. So the art of conversation can be, you do what you do to afford this house. I'm going to get you to buy this house. So listen to me, and I'm the CEO of this transaction. And then after that, it's over with. So then they always have their ego or their in check. Probably not a great word. However, it's the truth. When that kind of relationship happens, beyond the transaction of buying, selling, designing, and closing, then you're the first person on the referral list, because every good CEO has a vice president. That's a capable vice president.
Oh, that's a great point.
It's just a matter of when to knowledge and when to flip, and then flip back.
Yeah. And I feel like, with confidence, like you were saying, like that's the cornerstone of your confidence, is having the knowledge of being so smart.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks.
Is that as you build your knowledge base, then your confidence, and being confident of what your knowledge base is.
Correct.
Yeah. And I think that could go for any industry, really. Someone who is listening to this, and they were like, okay, well, I'm not a real estate agent. How do I apply this to what I do?
Well, I think you take the house out and you put in a car, or you take the car out and you put it into selling a trip.
Yeah.
You take it everything, or whatever you do that's an independent contracting, that you're not in a guideline. You sail on your own, basically. You're flying on your own. This is who you are. This is how you make money. This is what referrals look like in the future. This is
Yeah.
what the client looks like today. All of it is like plug and play.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what business we're in.
So when you were saying, like sometimes when things don't work out, your go-to is, well, let me figure out why that didn't work and let me learn so the next time that I do know this information and I can win at it. Like, do you feel like
Yes,
that's
I think that, I mean,
is that your,
no, yeah.
or do you just not lose? Not, and we really have talked about
we
this.
only get-
we never lose, we always learn.
Learn.
Yeah.
I'm a hyper positive person when it comes to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I do when I started not winning and always having a successful deal is I looked at every deal closely, like a post-mortem on the deal.
Right.
What could I have done? Did I make a mistake? What mistake was it? Was it calculated? Was it buyer? Was it seller? And maybe there was no mistake, but the deal doesn't happen. Well, how did I handle that? And I think that's probably, you're always in recovery mode.
Yeah.
When something's not right. And recovery mode, to me, doesn't mean it's anything negative. It just means you're fixing what potentially that went wrong. That could have or may not have been your fault.
Right.
And that how you fix things is how you are perceived, and again, solidifies your relationship.
Right. So can you think about any times that you were not as confident? And can you think of a time and then how you went in and said and shifted that?
Well, I think confidence, and I think yes. To answer the question directly, let's just go with when I first started in business and nothing with no traction. No
Right.
traction. I didn't know anyone. I'm kind of the swan song story where I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
But then somebody said to me in the office, who was much older than me, says, "You have the it factor."
And you didn't know that about yourself.
No, I knew.
Oh, you did.
I
You
just
just
didn't know
didn't-
that it
the
could be
thing.
translated into
Business.
independent contractor business, where I've already worked in a salaried position.
Right.
So how am I going to make money on this? And she told me, and it's a great story, and I'll share with
Yeah, we'll
share it later
when we
because
do
it's
our
a
event,
really
yeah,
great
it's a
story.
good story.
But however, that was where I learned right away that another person who I'm competing with thinks I'm good enough to work with her, and how that turned out was what pretty much launched my career, but also made me think much differently about how I help people in the future, because if it wasn't for that, where would I be? I knew I'd be a success, but would I be that quick or that smart or that savvy?
I love that you just said that because that's exactly what you did for me. Like, you told me that you are good enough. And I think that's a story that a lot of us play when we're in a place that we're not real comfortable with, that we go to that story in our head of, oh, I'm not good enough. And like, you did that for me, of telling me you are good enough.
Right, absolutely.
But it's such a wonderful thing that we have people that take down that competition piece, and that they realize that it's all about supporting each other. And have I ever taken business from you because exactly.
But in the reality is I could have taken business from you when you said, I'll need your help.
Yeah.
I think that when I see a commission number, and somebody needs help, I think it's abhorrent when people take advantage of it.
Right.
When you know in your heart that you can manage it.
Yeah.
Giving back across the board is always what's made me a success. But not just helping, like in charitable work and stuff. And it also brings in business. However, you have to sleep with yourself at night.
So true.
And if somebody made that call and I said, sure, I'll do halves on it, and we'll get it, and we'll sell it, that's great. And we have a good experience, but it's not mine.
Yeah.
It's not my money.
Yeah.
That's yours. You've got how you get business in how you, and actually how you get how you get business and how you approach it after you get it. A lot of times people do it with fear. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm
Well,
gonna
that's
mess
where I
up.
was, yeah.
No one's helped me. There's
Yep.
no guidance. We go to real estate school to stay out of jail.
And that's all you hear about
Yeah,
is
the
you
law,
gotta know
law.
exactly.
You better have a checkbook because you're going to write a lot of
Exactly.
zeros, and the next thing is you're also
That is so
you're going to go
true.
to jail.
Yes.
However, the art of the deal and the art of how you do all things that tangible into real estate, everyone's like this at 1st. The contract's 13 pages.
Right.
The addendums are this. What do? You can't write them because you're not a lawyer, so don't pretend you are. And you're like,
Yeah.
it's all confusing. So as you watch people around you tackle one thing at a time, and you see how they're doing about it, or they're frustrated, or people are taking the time to sit with the every people and teach them. Most big box real estate companies have training programs.
Right.
Then you see the person who's like trained, and then they walk out. It's like kind of like a baby deer on ice.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's all going to work.
Right.
The deer's going to make it, but
But
it's going to be
is it
slippery
slippery?
to get there.
Yes.
And that's when I think you need to find your confidence. You need to remember how hard you work to get your license, how much money you've invested in getting your license,
True.
and how much you're worth to your family or people that you need to support, and then step into business with all of that confidence. It's not going to be 100% confidence in all those different angles, but you'll find energy from every one of them.
And I want to add to that because I think it's one of the most probably important things is you also surround yourself with the people that are going to build you up and support you and get rid of those people that are not. And it's very easy in this business to get aligned with some people that are not and have your best interest in mind.
Well, I think one of the best stories I have about it is horrible as the pandemic was. This is not a personal level.
Yeah.
And it worked into business too. As horrible as the pandemic was, and a really social person like me is shut down and like living in a condo on the 5th floor of a building and not even in a neighborhood, you have fear about getting in the elevator and everything else. So you're dealing with all these personal things. But you know what the best thing was? Even with all that, I got rid of a lot of peripheral people in my life. It made me think about who's important.
Right.
And as I approached 20, 21, and then realized business associates that I didn't really like or that had a hard time with or thought I should be around because they might do something, they went to the wayside. If I see them, it's great, nothing personal. And then it happened with, peripheral friends as well that were clogging up your energy and how you, and your authenticity. So I think, the most important thing is absolutely surround yourself with the smartest people. And people, it's like playing tennis.
Yeah. Oh my
Find
gosh.
somebody who's playing better than you, and you will improve your game.
Because if you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to find another room.
Right.
Yes, that is so true.
So it's kind of like, and here's the deal. Everyone wants, I do believe in the heart of hearts, if they're not so busy, everyone loves to be asked a question. It soothes your knowledge, but it excites their ego.
Yeah.
So ask questions, lots of questions, and you never know who you're going to end up partnering up with.
And here's the thing, if the person won't answer, like if they aren't willing to, they're probably not our people. And you find those people like yourself who, and I will tell you just from I was very nervous because you exude a ton of confidence. Like you have this reputation that you are one of the biggest heavy hitters, and I was like, oh my gosh, Paul's actually like going to help me. It was, I was a little scared at first, and you have turned out to be one of my literally favorite best friends in this industry. And I know that if I ever needed anything, like you're on my like what is that on that? What was the show where you could call a friend?
Dial friend.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. But the thing is like, I just think of that serendipity. I think some people meet serendipitously. Yeah. And I think in our situation, I'm not a heavy hitter. I hit as much as I want. That's the beauty, is the beauty of it.
Right.
Could I hit more? Yeah. I could do a lot. I could do a lot for myself. I just have what I think is a really great life, with balance of family and business and charitable work.
Yeah.
Or just like you and Daniel and Nicole, Nicole's a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
And look what she did for me.
Right.
She sat me down, the most unlikely twosome.
Oh, absolutely.
To sit down,
Yes.
and actually she launched me.
Yeah.
Why would I not launch somebody else? And the thing is, it's like, I think everybody should be a little bit open. You don't have to give away state secrets, honestly. You don't. But you need to. You don't need to, but you just should help other people.
Yeah. Well, I cannot wait because we have our event coming up on March 2nd. Cannot wait. You've got some great little tips and tricks of like this whole confidence thing, and you exude it, and I just appreciate you literally so much just for, like, I probably would not even be doing what we're doing today if it wasn't for you taking that phone call. And we were shut down. It was literally a phone call.
Yeah.
And I think we saw each other maybe out biking. It was like, because we were locked down.
Yeah.
And so.
Meet garden.
Yep.
Well, thank you. But the thing is, it's like, I think like anything else, I just think that you just know people that should be in your life.
Yeah.
So that's how it is, and that's how I am. And I don't have a problem reaching out to people either.
Yeah.
So
that's good. That's another little nugget that we'll
talk
all right.
about
Well,
it.
thank you so much for this, and I cannot wait till March 2nd because you have got some great stories, and
wait.
we don't want to miss it.
Nope, it'll be
All right,
fun.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank-
What has been your experience with mindset? This is such a roller coaster industry that we're in, and I think if you don't have the thick skin and the mindset for it, you're out.
So my thing is, everyone perseveres during a really easy time. When you really want to, balance or check the gauge of how thick someone's skin is, it's how they are during the tough times, right? So I always like to say, imagine a ship, an old pirate ship, 200 years ago, out in the middle of a storm in the middle of the ocean, all right? A lot of them went down, but some of them stayed up. And the reason they stayed up is the captain knew at that time, he had the fortitude to know, I got to stay strong. I got to hold that wheel. I got to go directly at that wave to get through it. The ones that got scared went to the side, stuff like that. So that's who I am. That's how my mindset is. I'm the captain holding that wheel, and we're going to boom through this thing. I don't hold back. I don't stop spending. I haven't fired an employee because I know what the end goal is and I'm going to get there. So my mindset is always continue to dominate, continue to grow, continue to do your job, keep your head down, do your work, create relationships. That's all I do. So people ask, how do I do that? It's by convincing everyone around me and myself that we're going to be fine. How do we get through it? There's business everywhere for everyone. What are we going to do to get that business? Because someone else, if I'm not thinking that, someone else is going to think it, and they're going to eat my lunch.
Amazing. Like that is, I mean, I'm fired up just from hearing that.
Well, we're going to do some of that stuff when I come down there. So,
All right. Thank you, Randy.
thanks,
All right,
Melissa.
bye.